Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Channel. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. How's my camera doing? It looks a little bit. Oh, there we go. I don't know. Maybe get my head down. Who knows? Welcome to Massive Iron Live. Look, somebody's calling me right when live is starting. How about we just say kick rocks? Appreciate you guys joining me. I'm here every Friday. It is Friday. It is February 10th. And I'm here every Friday. For those of you guys new, a couple of things before we kick off the festivities. Number one, I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern. If you're new, don't hesitate to post up a question. Don't hesitate to post a question. There's no dumb questions, no stupid questions. He wants attention right out of the gate. This is my buddy boy. Don't be shy. Post up all the questions you want. I'm here to help. So post them all up. It doesn't matter if I've heard them 1,000 times before, I will answer them. If your question doesn't go through, it's not me blocking you or throttling you. It is the YouTube's acting weird, which it does. So if your question doesn't go through, try rewording it, shortening it, or if that doesn't work, you can head over to my Instagram at Ben the Barman. See the little ticker below at Ben the Barman, high tech, right? And slide into my DM, ask a question. Thank you, buddy boy. And I answer every question eventually on there. So how's everybody doing? You guys have a good week? I had a great week. Wrong way. How are we doing? I had a great week. I'm really super motivated, and things are really working well, going well for me. Sorry, I've been doing the power muscle block training with Team Massive. We started that on February. And for those of you guys that are unfamiliar of Team Massive, check out teammassiveiron.com. Come join. It's $9.99 a month. Just dump Hulu. No one watches that shit anyway, right? Don't dump one of those subscriptions and come join our community. If you're tired of things like Facebook or, just negativity, right? Like all the negativity that went on during the pandemic era and all that kind of stuff, all the negativity of social media, come on over. We got a great community. We really do. Everyone's super supportive. There's no negativity. There's no fighting. There's no nonsense. There's no chaos. So come on over, teammassiveiron.com. So just before we get started, guys, I'm pretty much at my limit as far as coaching. I don't have any room for coaching clients. But a couple of things. If you want one of my programs, you can head over to superlivingtoday.com, which is right up here, and check out my training app, the app tab. I also have Massive Fitness Equipment, themassivefitness.com. I have a new company, and my equipment will be arriving in about 12 days. So I'm very excited about that, a new venture for me. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on social media. All right. So let's dive into things. All right. What do we got here? And a reminder, post a question before live starts to win a free t-shirt, hoodie, or even a whey protein. If you've won like 800 t-shirts, I'll even send you a whey protein. All right. I'm a dad. What's your superpower? First, nice job. Morning Massive Mammals, morning. HB, if someone had only hypertrophy goals, could they reasonably follow the rep goal system only? Yeah, that's what I did basically my first 2 years. My first 2 years, I basically maximized every set. Not as a rule, like maybe 83.72% of sets, but for the most part, I maximized every set. So, the key thing is like, you want to focus on hard work, right? You want to focus on getting everything you can out of a set. And then from there, progression naturally creeps in. When you're doing that, when you're trying to get the most out of a set, you're going to add a +1. So at some point, we have to add weight. The rep goal system is just like a trigger. When you hit this trigger, then you add weight. I'm a dad. What's your superpower? If you're not a part of Team Massive, do you really even lift? No. Come on, guys. It's 2023. Join Team Massive. Join teammassiveiron.com. We're growing every day, and we're doing something special over there. We're bringing something back that's been missing from lifting. Facebook groups. Fuck Facebook groups. Excuse my language. But let's get off Facebook. Come join a community that's on a private platform that doesn't support all this negativity and crap. There's no ads. There's no nonsense. I'm not sitting there spamming you all day long to buy stuff. We're just a community. So check it out. One of your strong points is as a form coach. Thank you. Other YouTubers you respect, GVS, Sean Nalawani, Alpha Basement. How would you describe them? I think Sean Nalawani is a really good teacher. He really cuts through the bullshit and he goes straight to, excuse me, it's dry in here. He kind of goes straight to the point, the basics. He cuts through all the crap. Me and Sean are very alike in that way. Sean's always supported me and I appreciate that. GVS is naturally a good entertainer. He's just naturally good to watch, well organized, good structured videos. Hold on, I gotta somebody's messaging me through WhatsApp, and I gotta mute it. Sorry, I had to mute it. GVS is just aren't entertaining, and he really well organized, puts out good information. Alpha Destiny contributes a lot of unique things to the industry. Very hard worker. He backs his videos with results and really good structure. He really puts a lot of time into things, and I respect that. Basement Bodybuilding as well. I don't want to overanalyze these guys, but they're all good channels, and I respect them all. So, Zachary, morning Team Massive. Have a great day, everyone, and a great job on the cut. Thank you. I started a cut. This is day 6. I started a new YouTube channel, and I haven't even checked to see how it's doing. But I started a new YouTube channel to vlog, and let me see if I can find the channel here. It is Big Hairy Ugly. Big Hairy Ugly. I forgot what I named it. That's how new it is. Big Hairy Ugly. I'm just doing vlogs and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. If you want to follow it, it is just search Big Hairy Ugly. And I'm going to do a vlog at least once a week. I got a new Instagram account just for personal stuff, where I can post my workouts and nutrition. I need this Massive Iron has grown into, something where I want to put my content. I want to educate on Massive Iron, on Ben the Barman. I want to educate. So I also want to have a private account, where I do my own stuff, my personal stuff, because education like this content should exist to solve problems, right? It's not like I'm trying to be a brand or trying to, create some kind of mega corporation, but content exists to educate, right? And one of my goals is to better educate. So I want to separate personal crap from the educational crap. So that's why I created a new channel and a new Instagram. Morning, Tim. Currently having a ball training 3 times a week. Any suggestions on how to structure my leg day around this? I would have to, if you're doing a sport training, you probably want to maybe reduce the volume and the intensity of your leg workouts in general. I'm not sure if you have an off season or if this is continually through the entire year, but you have to kind of figure out, are you going to have blocks where you focus on one thing more than another? Obviously, you're going to always focus on the sport to one degree, but I would have to look at everything. I can run and lift. I just don't want to run heavy the day before a leg day. I can work out the day after a leg day, but you got to kind of make sure you're recovered. So it's not super complicated. You said currently doing them on Saturday. That's fine. That's probably the best. Even Sunday, there's going to be some carryover. There's going to be some crossover as far as soreness and recovery. You have to decide that, where it makes best sense for you. I sent a form video on Instagram. Not sure. I think I check everything on Instagram, and if I missed it, it might be buried, so just bump it. The problem with Instagram is like, I'm not complaining here, but at a point you get so many DMs that you'll send somebody a message and they'll respond like 3 weeks later and you've totally forgot the conversation, or it gets buried. Like I get so many messages that it's like 50 messages buried, so if I don't look at Instagram for a couple of days, somebody's message can get completely avalanched. Best thing to do, Tim, is come join Team Massive. Come join Team Massive. We have form checks. Every member can submit form checks. So I know you're a hardcore member of, a hardcore follower, and I appreciate that. You really should consider joining Team Massive. Christos, loving the Power Muscle block model for training. I'm doing that right now myself. Can I interchange my muscle and block sets from time to time when it comes to order of exercise? You mean do a block before muscle? I would not. I would not do a time set before a muscle set. The muscle sets, the order exists kind of for a reason. You want to do your heavier, strengthy work, lower rep work, and then you want to do your volume, your meat and potatoes on the compounds, big hitters, and then you want to do a more isolation type of movement, if that makes sense. Stein, how's it going, Stein? 3 days grace. I got a physical fitness test in college on Tuesday. Have to do max push-ups. Any tips? Yeah, the only tip is don't drink the night before. You're a little late on the preparation train. I'm not being hard on you 3 days, but there's not a lot you can do to prepare now. Really, I would maybe do 50, 100 of each the next few days and rest on Monday and come in fresh, because it's like you're at the last 30 seconds of the ball game here, so there's not a lot you can do if you're really in the hole. Steve K, using threes on overhead press, frustrated to have the top set stuck for 4 weeks, but still adding +1. That's a good thing though. You look at the bigger picture. Building in the back down sets is going to eventually turn into building in the top set. So everything we do, consider that progress, right? You got 3 sets on threes, and if you're adding something, you're progressing, you're getting stronger. So don't change anything, man. Not when you're making progress. The biggest thing is people they expect progress to be linear or always consistent. Progress is not consistent. Effort has to be consistent. With consistent effort comes more consistent progress. Now, Steve, I don't know your diet, but make sure your diet is nailed. If you're in maintenance or calories are up and down, you can't expect progress. I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your diet, but just make sure your diet is nailed. Dungeons and Donuts. I've struggled with some disordered eating behavior since getting into fitness. Can you relate? I have issues where, left unchecked, I just like to eat too much, right? It's just, I can be a really sloppy eater. I think I don't know if I have an eating disorder. When I was depressed, I was a binge eater. I would binge eat to kind of fill the void of depression. So, yeah, I can relate in a sense. Any tips for putting that behavior behind you? I don't know your behavior. So, the biggest thing I would say is get involved with a community that can be supportive. Like something like Team Massive, and I'm not trying to overly pimp it, teammassiveiron.com, but when you check in daily with other people that are on the path you're on, it provides you with not only daily accountability, but you get to ground yourself daily. Too many people are out there on their own trying to do this. And whether you have a support group locally, like you go to some kind of a group, or online, you have a Facebook group, or you have something like Team Massive, having that community aspect is so vital to our recovery. Because we can share our struggles, or even if we don't want to share our struggles, we can just be around other people that are doing positive things. So that's a baseline. You also have to assess. I don't know your eating disorder, but you have to assess what is driving it. What is driving? Is it stress? Maybe you don't know, right? But if it's really bad, you got to seek professional help. Chat GP, I'm so over this stuff already. Said you mostly lose muscle and water when doing. Oh my goodness, I don't think Chat G. This is just silly. You don't mostly lose water. Look, this is so. Come on, guys, we're way beyond this. We're way beyond this. Calories in matters. Calorie content matters, regardless of diet. And anytime you go on any diet where you're restricting something, you're going to be low. Like if you go on a calorie restriction tomorrow, I don't care what diet you're on, keto or macros or whatever, you're going to be reducing crap carbs and carbs in general, because really the only thing our protein should be quality, our fats should be quality. The only thing we really adjust on a diet is carbs. So, and if anybody that understands fat loss or dieting will understand this. So you're going to have water loss from anything. It's just nonsense. You don't lose mostly water, right? If you ran a keto deficit for a year and lost 120 pounds, it wouldn't be mostly water. You would lose a ton of fat. Okay. So, all right. Greg, live chatting Friday lunchtime. Thanks for joining in. Sandro, what is a reasonable weight you can lose in a week? You want to lose as much as you can, man. You want to get in, get the cut over with, and get out. People are all like panicky about cuts. Like, I can't lose more than this. Like, yes, you can. Diet fatigue is a real thing. And the biggest thing, look, I can tell you as a coach, the biggest thing that people struggle with is getting the cutting diet over with. Get it over with. People continue to screw off or cheat every third to seventh day, and then it just lasts forever. The best thing you can do is get aggressive, go hard, and get it over with. In the world of coaching, what's the average weight loss? If I see somebody lose a pound a week, it's good. That sounds trivial, right? But man, there's so many ups and downs and screw-offs and alcohol on the weekend. And I'm going to be honest, just in dieting, not in coaching, and dieting in general, there's so many excuses, right? There's so many excuses. If you're going to cut, get it over with. I don't care if your plumber's birthday was on Saturday. You don't have to drink, right? You can say no, people, right? But this is the biggest issue on a cutting diet. Looking for like, oh, it was my brother's plumber's sister's dog grooming show, so they had drinks. Like, no, you don't have to drink, right? I went to my niece's birthday party and they had pizza. So what? That doesn't mean you need to stuff it in your cake hole, right? I mean, seriously. But the main issue with weight loss is people make these excuses and they're just like, they believe in their own silliness. We are on a mission, and if you want better body composition or you can't continue to bullshit yourself with these excuses. Every weekend. This weekend it's going to be the Super Bowl. Next weekend it's going to be Valentine's. Look, those are legit reasons to celebrate, and I'm not saying that. But the weekend after is going to be your brother-in-law's birthday party. That doesn't mean you need to eat like a pig or drink like a pig. You can say no because you have a mission, right? So the point here is most people struggle to sustain fat loss because they're caught in that world where they're continually, this weekend is this, and that weekend I have an event, and I had to go to a seminar this weekend, and they had pizza there. Oh, are you 5 years old? You can't say no. I mean, get over it, right? So most people struggle to sustain weight loss because they think every time they see food or alcohol, they got to shove it in their fucking mouth. I mean, let's get real here. You can say no. And if we're on a cutting diet, get it over with and get it over with as quick as possible. I'm not telling you to do a starvation diet. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to be reasonable, but go as low as sustainable on calories. And then if you feel a speed bump, don't blow out. Go back to maintenance for 3 or 4 days until you feel in control and dig in again. So if we're on a cut, there's 2 types of cuts. There's a cut, which is a short-term mini cut, which most of us that are in the body recomposition world are doing. And maybe they're 10, 15, maybe you got out of control. Maybe they're 20 pounds. Get that stuff over with. Try to lose 2.5, 3 pounds a week. Get it over with as quickly as possible. Get in, get out, right? You can easily turn a 20-pound cut into a 6-month adventure, and I see it all the time. And there's nothing I want more for these people than to just stop fucking off every 3rd to 7th day. Stop it. Stop. Say no, right? So reasonable. If I see someone at 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week, I'm very happy. If I see somebody at 1 pound a week, that's a good minimum goal. If somebody is not doing 1 pound a week, they need to step it up some way with tracking, self-accountability, or dig a little bit deeper. I got to be honest with you guys. One of the things I hate hearing is I'm hungry, because I do not fucking care if you're hungry. I literally do not fucking care if you're hungry. I've been hungry for 6 days. You're not going to die. Get fucking over it. I'm hungry. So what? Just because you feel a little bit discomfort doesn't mean you need to feed it, right? I'm sore. One, stop lifting and go sit on the couch and be a boo-boo baby, right? Let's go. So what, right? I went into I lifted weights and I also practiced jujitsu, and I was a little bit sore headed. So what? Get over it. Your body will adapt. I mean, that's how the body adapts, by pushing when things are hard. That is where growth takes place, by pushing when things are challenging you. So when you're hungry, push back. That's how we grow. That's how we get stronger. That's how we change. You might not like it. I've been hungry as heck the last 6 days. 2 days ago, I was so crabby, I think I pissed off my wife. But that's where we change. That's where the important things take place. That's what we have to embrace. When we're tired, push back. When you're tired and you don't want to work out, push back. That's where the mental strength is built that takes you to where you want to go. When you're hungry, push back. Like, I was hungry, so I ate. No, I was hungry, so I fight. It's not about hunger. It's not about fatigue. It's about fight. If you want to be successful, you need to fucking fight. You need to fucking fight back. You need to just close your eyes and punch. Even if you're hitting air, you need to fight back. You just can't say, I'm hungry. I don't care. All right. So anyway, how was that for a rant? Team Massive, how's it going? Brandon, what's your options for chest strength and development when you're old and have bad shoulders? Anytime you have an issue, you have to assess what exercises you can do. So I can't do that for you, Brandon. It's like every injury is different. So you have to go in and you have to try all the exercises on the buffet, right? And you have to decide, how do they feel? You have to try to find probably 3 good exercises, at least a dumbbell, maybe a barbell variation. Some modifications you could make is you don't have to take the bar all the way to your chest. So if your shoulders are struggling, no, you can leave the bar a little bit off your chest. That'll put less shoulder stress. And from there, try some different options. Try like a football bar, neutral grip bar, dumbbell bench, machine chest press, plate loaded chest press. Try some movement. See what works well. I wish I could tell you what exercises to do, but in any situation where you have an injury, you just have to try it yourself and be wise about it. I need knee surgery. Last year I was walking down the steps and tore something in my knee. It was so random. And I can't squat right now, but I can do leg extensions. And for some reason, I can do leverage squats. It wouldn't make any sense on paper, right? But I had to try these things to see what I could do. Timothy, do you do body fat assessments for non-clients? I can do an eyeball assessment. But in general, time is a luxury for me. Clients always come first. Team Massive always comes second. And, I look at client work, and then when I need a short break, I look at Team Massive. And then when I am done with work, then I look at things like, helping people for free. I want to help people as much as I can for free, but the priority is always going to be with those that value my time the most to pay for it. And that's just life, right? I got to pay the bills, but I can do an eyeball. But Tim, I got to tell you, man, you should really consider joining Team Massive. Maybe not. I can eyeball your body fat. Look, it's not complicated with my experience level. Just from all I've seen, if you don't have man boobs, if you don't have lower belly fat, if you don't have love handles, and if you don't have lower back fat, you're probably right around 18%, give or take a hair. So from there, we can kind of analyze. If you don't have that kind of fat and you're leaner, we can kind of guess where you're at between 12 to 18%, relatively easy. If you're bigger than that, then it's easy to guess whether you're at 22 to 25%, which is a little bit fluffy with the man boobs and the lower belly fat and the love handle fat. Or if you're way into 30 and you start to have the pregnancy belly, right? So Steel Rat, happy Friday, go Team Massive. How's your knee? Well, I can do some leg exercises, which is a good thing. Last week was my best leg workout in a year. I did block sets of leg extensions, and I did 4 sets of 8 on leverage squats. That's all I did for quad. So I'm going to keep trying to take slow steps forward to see where my limit is at. Big Zachary, might be just me, but the sissy squat machine works my inner quads more than my leg extensions ever did. Yeah, I like the home piece. I like the sissy squat machine. I'm a big fan of that. And if you haven't seen it, you can get sissy squat stations for the home gym. And I think they're about 150, 170. I honestly forget. And you can, really get some good volume. You can do block sets, rest, pause work, that sort of thing. So I saw his banana. I was going for my PR indicator on bench, and Spotter touched the bar in the last 2 reps. He said, all you. Here's the thing. Like, you have to be able to judge speed. Would I have locked it out? Was the speed okay? If the speed was okay and you would have locked it out, then count it. Count it. This isn't a numbers game, right? Just be wise about this stuff, guys. Like on a bench, when your speed slows, there's a huge chance the next rep you're going to fail. Unless you have just monster tricep strength compared to your chest strength. So if you're slow on a rep, there's a chance the next rep would have failed. So don't count that if he helped. But if it's not slow and he grabbed it, then, absolutely count it. Yvonne, morning team, massive. Good morning, Yvonne. Big John Paul Umberlin. Did I pronounce your name right? I'm lean bulking. My linear progression, but I sometimes feel DOMS even though I'm eating a surplus. Not doing anything wrong, man. You're doing everything right. Embrace it. Drive on, soldier. Drive on. You don't want to avoid soreness. Soreness is going to be part of the journey. Wear it like armor. Get in the gym. Do what you can. That's the problem with full body, though. And I made a meme about this, and I'm not against full body, and I'm not telling you to stop full body. But, you do squats on Monday, you might probably be sore on Wednesday because squats are intense. Like, every exercise is going to leave you different from a soreness standpoint. So you might do squats on Monday, maybe leg extensions on Wednesday, but you still might be sore. You still got to get in, and you still got to be smart, and you still got to progress. Raphael, no, never do my books on Amazon because, number one, getting paid from Amazon is a pain in the butt. Number two, I'm a small guy, so I would have to. Right now, the way I have it set up is when somebody orders a book, it's printed at the fulfillment station. Like, we don't stock. It's physically printed. This is the modern world, high-tech printed. And they print it and it's gone. It's out in 1 to 2 days, right? It just goes into the queue and it's gone. So it's really super simple and super streamlined. With Amazon, I would have to stockpile a bunch of books. I'd have to do all the paperwork, all the stuff, send them to Amazon. No way. Too much headache. I don't need Amazon, and it's not going to provide me any benefit. It's kind of the myth of Amazon that if you have your products on Amazon, it's going to increase your sales. Nah. I sell so many orders of my books through my own website. I'm good with it. Right. And I want people on my website. I want people in my world. And honestly, I do not want to support the big companies any more than I already have to. Especially in this age of corporatism where corporations are functioning as political entities. I don't get into politics, but I will tell you this. I don't want any corporation getting involved with politics. I don't care what way they lean. I don't want them involved in politics. I don't want that crossover. How do I know if I have general fatigue or just regular fatigue? I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, fatigue is fatigue, really. So you just have to manage it the best you can. Well, I know from one thing you guys can do. This might sound silly, but you can get abs for this, or abs. Abs. You can get an app for this, and you can track. How do I feel? I do this on my. Whoop. It can ask me questions every day. Do I feel recovered? But you can do this on an app. How's my recovery today? And you can kind of start to analyze how's my recovery after workouts. How's my fatigue after the day of a workout compared to a normal day? But I don't really think it matters. Number one, you got to get in and do the work anyway. Number two, you should focus on the things you can control. What can I improve? Sleep, stress, whatever. And, don't, if you're working out, make sure you're not trying to work out 3-4 days in a row. 2 days is kind of the limit for me personally. And in a perfect world, if I was training somebody, like a lot of the younger guys can train more frequently, but still in the long run, it's probably a better idea to train 2 days in a row and have a day off and pace yourself a little bit, but when you're young and you're full of energy and you're full of recovery, why not run? Right. So I don't really know, LV. I mean, my only advice is don't overthink things. Rest, take care of yourself, focus on the things you can control, get in your workouts, and that's really all you can do. LB, don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you. Everybody, please like the video. I appreciate you supporting the algorithm. YouTube doesn't like it when you do live videos. It's its own platform, so it watch time and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care about all that stuff, but it's nice to be able to reach people and help people. So the more you guys smash the like button, it's not like you're giving me a ton of cash, right? I made the same amount off YouTube for 10 years, and it's not much. I'll tell you that much. It's not much. So all the likes in the world aren't going to get me to like buying a Lamborghini like Greg Doucette. That's not what it's about. For me, when you like the button, it just gives an extra chance somebody else might see the video. Hey, Suze, what do you think of push-pull legs? They're fun. My clients that want to do push-pull legs, I build them a push-pull leg. The only thing I will say is I like to put in an A-B. So I don't like to do the same exercises every push, every pull, and every leg. So we have a push-pull leg A, and we have a push-pull leg B, and my clients rotate between those two. Gets you a little exercise variety, makes it a little bit more fun, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, Jay, at 2, how do you know when you only have 3 or less pounds of natural muscle left to gain? When you look like Bald Omni-Man, when you look like Jeffrey Verity Schofield, when you look like me, when you look like Alpha Destiny. When you were in that range, I'm not saying 3 specifically, but you only have a few pounds left to gain, right? Clue, you roasted Scott Herman's 60 pounds of natural muscle building claims. Your roast is the funniest. Thank you. Yeah, 60 pounds of natural muscle. Dude, if I've only gained like, I don't know, 30 to 32 pounds of muscle in my life. If I gained 60 pounds of natural muscle, I'd look like Arnold, right? Legit. It's just this industry, man. No one, like a lot of these guys they're not bad people, but the industry isn't as educated as a whole on this stuff as it should be. I've spent my life studying this stuff. So guys will often come at me and like they don't even know the basics of like natural potential. Natural potential is not a limitation. I've never seen anybody beat the natural limitation ranges. It's not a limitation. I'm not saying, we have to understand when it comes to strength and size, they're different things. I'm not telling people they can't get stronger because they can, but from a physiological muscle standpoint, I've never seen anybody beat the natural potential standards, presented by Casey Butt and the resulting formulas I've created. So the problem is the industry doesn't understand this. So when you say there's natural potential, they're like, I'll show you. And like, that's great, but you're not going to get bigger than GVS. You're not going to get bigger than Alpha Destiny. You're not going to get bigger than Bald Omni-Man. You're not. Maybe by a pound, but it's not like, I'll show you, I'll get 10 pounds. No, you won't. I mean, these things exist as goals, not as limitations. I've made great progression cutting weight using your Surge and Cruise method, and I'm planning to start bulking in March. How aggressively should I increase? It's hard to say. I would probably bump 500 calories and weigh in every day in the morning for 5 days. You're going to see a water spike, but what you want to kind of see is things to level out a little bit. And from there, we can fine tune to make sure we're gaining 2 or 3 pounds a month, if that makes sense. Big Josh, Megaroids. Thoughts on hard sets per week and age? It's a hard one, Josh, and I'm not throwing my hands up at the question itself because it's a hard question to answer. I train like yesterday. I'm killing it, dude. I am going deep. When I'm training, I'm 55. When I train. I train like I did when I was. Well, I can't say I train like I did when I was 25. but I train hard. I train, maybe the difference is 1%. Like whatever you have, there has to be a reasonable rate of attack. So over time, the reality is you're going to pick up war wounds. You're going to pick up aches, pains, strains, and injuries. That's not a reason to not lift, because if you don't lift, you're going to be far worse. It's better to be strong and have a few injuries than it is to be weak and die from weakness. Does that make sense? So we have to continue to do what is reasonable, but we still have to train hard. Josh, I would tell you that, and this is not bragging, but if I were to train with myself of 10 years ago, I'd be able to keep up about 90%. I have war wounds and injuries. Some of them are just random. Just the longer you play the game, but there's no rule for less volume. If anything, I do more volume in my 50s. Like I would go heavier when I was younger and do back down sets, but for the last 5 years on bench, I've been doing 3, 4, 5 sets of 10, maybe some sets of 20. So I think I've actually increased my volume and decreased the overall weight, if that makes sense. How much does the average fitness influencer exaggerate height and arm size? Well, I'd hate to say average. One of the things I used to do when I was at Tiger Fitness and Muscle and Strength is do a arm comparison, like we'd flex. And there's only, like, the Hodge twins are really the only guys that ever beat me. And I had 17.5-inch arms at 22% body fat. So it wasn't like I was lean. I barely have 17-inch arms. If I was lean. So I don't know. There are a lot of good guys out there. So it's an impossible question to answer. But whenever somebody says they're over 17.5 and they're lean, they're usually, you have reason to be skeptical. Paul, Big Paul, how's it going, Paul? Can crack squat be a good sub for squats? Yeah, I mean, if your lower back is torched, you got to do what you can do. It's a good option. So if your lower back's torched, I have no issues with that. Thoughts on the rumor that Arnold's arms are only 19 3/4? I believe it. I believe it from what I've seen, because in my time in the industry, I've seen, let me see if I can find a picture of something. So hold on a second. I got to see if I can find the guru of abs. Hold on, folks. Going to be worth it. If I can find it, I'm super hungry. This is where the fight begins. The guru of abs posts, guru posts from you. Facebook makes it so much of a pain in the ass to find everything. I can't find it. I think his name was Deshaun something, the guru of abs. There's like a Deshaun something. He was the guru of abs. Oh, here we go. So let me see if I can share this. And there's a point here. Present, share screen. Okay, so this is me with Deshaun Johnson, guru of abs. Like, if you look at his arms on his social media, you're probably thinking 19, right? Just take me out of the picture. My arms here are 17.5, and I'm at 22% body fat. Deshaun's look 19 on their own, but next to mine, there might be like maybe a quarter-inch, half-inch bigger. So, a 20-inch arm is a lot bigger than you think. So I wouldn't doubt it at all. Steve Reeves' arms don't look 19. No, they're definitely not 19. I made a video and I put a photo of Steve Reeves in there, maybe 17 and a half off season. I don't know. It's like bicep peak and shape of the tricep can create, like, my triceps are really full, right? So some people have more flatter triceps. So you can have the same amount of muscle tissue, but it can be shaped a different way. Does that make sense? So there can be guys that have, like, big softball looking biceps that get the advantage of shape, where mine are long, looking like a long potato, right? Like a long turd. So we might have the same size, but because theirs are small and ball like, it might actually increase the size. Does that make sense? Caleb, I always appreciate your work. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Close grip bench and skulls hurt my shoulders. What can I do for Tricepticons? I would cable tricep extensions. One thing I like is dumbbell kickbacks. I used to not like them, but I can really get a good feel. And home gym, wow. I hope you have a cable system. Caleb, I would like to know what you have. If you just have barbells and dumbbells, and you can't do close grips and skull destroyers, you're going to have to use dumbbells. Do you have an easy bar? I assume you do, because you're doing skulls. Maybe you could do French press. You could do out of brain lock, dumbbell kickbacks. Man, you can do a single arm tricep overhead extensions, but those are tough. You can do things. The thing that I'm stumbling with is, like, you can do things like JM presses, but those are going to be close to close grips. So when you say they hurt your shoulder, what's going on with your shoulder, man? If I'm more concerned with that, to be honest with you, Caleb. If your shoulder is hurt and can't do those basic exercises, that's pretty bad. So is it muscle soreness, or have you seen a doctor about something? Because you can DM me, on Instagram, and we can dive into this a little bit more. So live starts now. Caleb, I'm going to go ahead and give you the grand prize for today. You can hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM, or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. I'll give you a t-shirt, I'll give you a hoodie, I'll give you whey protein, whatever you want. So just let me know what you would like. All right. Where are we at? I lost my way. There's so many comments here. Where are we at? There we are. Stein. Woohoo. Sandro, is one isolation for biceps and triceps per workout, 3 sets, both enough for arms? Per week? No. That's a little bit on the light side. And per week, you would probably want to start at 6 sets for biceps and 6 to 9 for triceps. Lean a little bit more towards 9 if you have the room. Camera looks all right. Thanks. I'm always, with all this stuff going on, I'm always trying to frame myself. And then you have the questions, which can chop off my face. Do you think, I wish you could reduce the size of these a little bit. Do you think some people can train closer to failure based on? Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's not pain tolerance. I think it's like discomfort. Some people don't like training discomfort. They fear it, or they think they're going to get injured. There's a whole spectrum of psychology, how people handle things. So I'm no expert, but it's pretty obvious when you look into things that some people are going to have a greater degree of pain tolerance and drive. And like me, when I start to, not all the time, I'm not superhuman, but when I start to feel like on those days when things are clicking and I get deep, like yesterday, this happened with curls. Like I knew I had some reps, but the pain was there. But I'm like, I'm going in, you're going in. Right? There's a part of you that just has to be willing to go when you know it's not dangerous, but when the pain is there. That's kind of where the growth can take place, but we have to be smart about it. Sandra, what's your worst injury and how did you overcome it? I tore my hamstring. You guys want to see the video? Let's see, YouTube. Hold on, we'll do a little adventure. We'll do a little story time. Tore. Let's see if it's tore or tear. Tear, tore, tear, tore, tear, torn. I did tore. How about tear? We'll find it one of these days. Jerry words, pec tear. Let's try hamstring. We'll try one more. And if I can't find it via the search, we're not going to watch it. And we'll move on. I am hungry. I'll tell you that much. I am freaking hungry. We're going to drive on, though. My squat injury video.
This is what.
Let me mute it. All right, I'm going to get this for you guys to watch. I just have to get past the advertisements. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys my squat tear. This is my worst injury ever. And I'm going to present the screen. We're going to share the screen. All right. It's going to be on the second rep. And let me see if I can turn the music up. Or let me see if there's music. No, it's quiet. It's quiet. So somebody else in the gym, right? You guys see this okay? And that's going to happen on the second rep. I've done this 1,000 times. I don't know what it was, 450 on squats, quiet gym. I've done it. I don't even know if I can watch this. It's nothing bad. It was just random. I think the floor was uneven a little bit. Somebody was over there deadlifting. And you'll see an employee walk by as I'm on the floor dying in pain, just ignoring me. Second rep. Let's watch the first rep to see if my butt goes straight down. A little bit of lean, see it? I'm a little bit to the left. I suspect the floor is a little bit uneven. I don't know if I can watch it. Look at the employee. Okay, see the employee just coming in the door on the left? He stops at the door. Brett came over. The employee fucking walks on like a champ. Right? Didn't even check to see if I needed anybody to, but that was a pretty bad hamstring tear, and it took me a while to overcome. A while. I was actually training at the time to try to hit the all-time over 50 powerlifting world record, and I was doing really well. Super random. I kind of think like I noticed over time when I look back at the videos that I'm kind of squatting a little bit sideways. I don't think the floor was even. It was just somebody put in a gym at Tiger Fitness on a floor of a warehouse. And if your floor is not level on a squat, you're going to kind of move sideways. And that's one reason anybody squatting at home needs to check to make sure their squat platform or wherever they're squatting is level. David, is push-pull arms, legs better for arms? Well, not really better. Just adds a little bit of variety. Like the problem with the push-pull legs workout is that the push can get super intense because you're doing chest and shoulders on the same day. Where pull, you're just doing basically, back. and legs, you're doing basically legs. So it can get a little bit crowded on the push. So the arms allows you to uncrowd the push and the pull a little bit. Maybe put in some stuff you couldn't fit in, like calves and abs and rear delt work. So I think it's a fun alternative. Best accessories for posterior chain. Well, you want to probably do some form. Romanian deadlifts are at the top of the list, but they're a lift that most people don't know how to perform, and most coaches don't know how to coach. So it's at the top of the list. Wide stance, heels elevated good mornings are good. They work in the same way, excuse me, than RDL does. Those two would be at the top of the list for me. And then we have a variety of other exercises, for posterior chain beyond squats and deadlifts and the basics, right? Because posterior chain is your back. So it's the backside of your body, your hamstrings, your glutes. If we're talking glutes, you have to do some work for your glutes if you want strong glutes, if you want beautiful glutes, if you want well-developed physique. So it really depends on what we're talking about here, powerlifting or bodybuilding. Neo, how's it going, Neo? Good to see you. Craig, join the team if you haven't. Who you got in the Super Bowl? Good question, Craig. Being an NFC guy, being from Wisconsin and a Packers guy, the Eagles just bore the crap out of me as a franchise. No hate, Philadelphia. They're just one of those franchises that bore me. So I haven't watched them this year, though. Maybe they're exciting. I don't watch a lot of football. I don't have time, really. So I would say Kansas City, but I really haven't watched Philadelphia. Is complaining about negativity. I think negativity is more like a personality state. Like always seeing the negative in things. We all have moments. I mean, everybody's on a spectrum. Let's be real here. We're not going to do the whole black and white thing, pretending there's a perfect army of people that are always positive. There's certainly fake positive people that want you to believe they're always positive, but we're complex beings. So we're always going to have a degree of positive and negativity. And I think we all struggle with it to a degree, right? So, a lot of it is our perspective. I think when I was about in my early 40s, I realized that I couldn't hate my employers for not having the perfect work environment. Because unless you control your own destiny, you have to deal with what's there. So I learned to just show up, do my job, and leave. And I didn't do my job in shitty. I did my job well, so I could go home and sleep well. And if somebody didn't like me or whatever, that was on them. But you saw when you're at a company, you see folks that'll constantly complain about management, like either get a different job, or like if you're at a company and you expect management anywhere to be sane, you're kind of living in a fantasy world. You really need to just stop carrying that around. You can't save the world. Just go and do your work and get out. Not saying you don't care, but you know what I'm saying? Mary, yes. I think we're responding to the camera. Whose story do you find most inspiring? Is it even a good idea to look up people? Whose story do I find most inspiring? There are a lot of inspiring stories I've had over the years. I have clients right now that have lost 100 pounds that inspire me. I have clients that are just training hard that inspire me. So that's a hard question to ask. I would really have to think about it. Let's see. Started doing hex bar rows instead of regular rows. Felt so much better. That's good. That's the whole point in trying things. If one variation feels good, then go with it. Let me get a drink here. The truth is looking pretty bleak these days. This is after the initial comment, whatever I made, Mary. So I'm a little bit lost on what that reference. So I apologize. No disrespect, man. Rico, how's it going, Rico? David, in close grip bench press dips and lying tries, are close grip bench dips and lying tricep extensions a good combo? Dips, yeah. I mean, dips and close grips are great for chest and triceps. They're really two really good builders. So you're going to have a lot of overlap there, but probably add in another. I don't know. It depends on the context of your program. Really would. In the right context, that would be fine. Close grips and lying tricep extensions are really good, and dips can. Check out my video that I did last week. Dips are a quality exercise. Just make sure you control them correctly. Who wins, one bear-sized rat or 100 rat-sized bears? One bear-sized rat, that doesn't sound good, or 100 rat-sized bears? I'm going to go with 100 rat-sized bears. Ryan, I do similar to rep goal. I add weight and compensate by adding sets. When do you cap that out? Because at some point, you're either going to be in the gym 3 hours or you're going to run out of room to add sets. So do you cycle sets, Ryan? I'm just asking more out of curiosity. If a couple nights of bad sleep a week don't ruin gains, they don't. Then why do studies suggest that it makes such a big difference? In the long run, sleep is obviously important for health. But nobody is perfect in the short run. We all have, the body is not that fragile. And in the lifting world, we like to act like the body is fragile. You'll lose all gains if you lose a couple pounds of fat. You'll lose all your gains if you do cardio. You'll lose all your gains if you have a couple bad nights of sleep. This is just nonsense. The body is not that fragile. We have to use common sense. Sleep is not going to make good sleep is great to have. Optimal sleep. If you have periods in your life where you can crush optimal sleep, crush it. But let's be pragmatic a little bit. We're not always going to have that. Do what you can. Make the best of what you have. It's not going to really matter over 4 to 5 years unless you have some dramatic sleep condition. What's your go-to cheat meal? Definitely chips, man. I mean, something with nachos, nacho cheese, jalapenos, something like that. I like pizza, but I like wingies, but probably one meal would have to be a big old fat plate of nachos with fake cheese, whatever that cheese product is, right? At what did you bench the first time? I started in 86, like September 86. I did 95 for 3. I think in a year I was doing 225 by 5, about a year. Dr. AJ, good morning. I'm late. Just got done delivering my first set of twins. That's a good way to start a Friday. Happy day to the mother, right? How much truth is in the statement that as a natural, you can either be shredded but not look big in clothes, or look big in clothes but be fluffy with the shirt off? It depends on the individual. I find at 20 to 22% body fat that I look much bigger. I've been with bodybuilding competitors that had the spray tan on, literally. And we were walking through the grocery store the morning before the competition. And the clerk at the store asked about the spray tan. And my friend said they were doing a bodybuilding competition, and the clerk smirked at them because they looked so small. That's a true story. So it depends on the individual. But at the gym, you can really sort through things. But look, if you're walking around in a tee and you're looking good and you got 17-inch arms and good shoulders, you're going to look good. Neo, when did you realize you were a great teacher? Thank you, Neo, for the donation. I don't. I've never had a moment where I said I was a great teacher. Um, you know, I'm trying to improve the way I teach, and I'm taking it now that I'm working for myself and not working in the supplement industry. I have an opportunity to say what I want and express it the way I want without somebody looking over my shoulder. So I consider that to be a big blessing. Scotty. Alrighty, big fella. I hope you have a good quality polish for that silver polish for that. Oh my goodness, man. I forgot all about it. Guys, I got to show you this. I forgot about it. It finally came. I just want to say thank you. So I'll show you guys. My letter from YouTube. It says, some 100,000 subscribers, just how far you've come. I'm going to get a little choked up. I'm not a big numbers guy, but this chokes me up a little bit. It does, because, in life, sometimes you grind and grind and grind. And I'll tell you one thing, and I'll just say this. Over the years, I've kept my passion for lifting. I've made my mistakes. And, I've definitely made my mistakes. But I've stayed true to myself. And over the years, I've taken my beatings. People telling me my channel's shit, my delivery shit, my camera shit, everything shit. Man, I used to get that stuff so often. I've even had a point where other YouTubers would just, be almost blatantly disrespectful. So to actually get there, it means something to me because I stay true to myself. And, when you do this for 12 years, you get a lot of, there's been 95% positivity. There really has. And I can't thank you guys enough. But anybody that does YouTube for a long period of time takes a beating from the 5%, people that don't like them. And I'm okay with that. Right. But you do 12 years of YouTube and you take a lot of beatings. And I'm not a big numbers guy, but it means something to me. And I can't thank you guys enough. It does, because I've just stuck with myself. I've continued to make videos 5 to 6 times a day or a week because I like to talk about lifting. And it feels good. It feels good, because in my head, I think of all those people that, people will doubt you. And I've always used that as motivation. I'm not a natural speaker. I don't think. If I become good at speaking or teaching, it's from repetition. If I become good at lifting, it's from repetition. And that's the only thing I can really pass along to you guys is repetition. When somebody says you can't do something, keep fucking walking forward every day and trying to learn and refine what you do. I'm trying to refine what I do right now. I want this to be the best content year I can put out. It's not about fancy graphics or fancy video editing. I want to be a better teacher. I want to put across better information. And I'm shit compared to these guys that can produce videos full time. But I coach full time. I have put in 50 hours through last night just from Monday coaching. And by the end of tonight, I'm going to be at probably 62 hours just through Monday through Friday of just coaching. That's what I do bell to bell. So I don't have time for fancy edits, but anyway, enough about that. Can a big torso make arms look small? I mean, there's so many different cases. I'm not being dismissive here, but there's so many different cases. I don't see too many guys with a big, broad shoulders and small arms. Please don't mention that name here. Don't mention that name. That name is not to be mentioned. Steel Rat goes to gym. Choosing between two elbow supports, one slightly too light, another slightly too loose. You mean like elbow sleeves? If you can't get it up into place and it's going to take you 5 minutes to wrestle that, personally, I'm just going to be honest with you. Fuck that, right? I don't have time for that shit. I really don't. So if I'm going to have support, I don't want it to be like take more energy than a set. Does that make sense? Good morning, Carlton. Appreciate you tuning in. Were or are you weirded out listening to your own voice on record? Like on music or just on like here? I'm okay with listening to myself. Listening to yourself sing is weird because all you hear is like you're like in a tunnel. You compare yourself to other people, and you completely ignore the impact of your own style. Does that make sense? So, listening to I can't get this damn box closed. Listening to yourself sing is super weird, but it's also a good thing to do because early on, when I was trying to learn how to sing or improve my singing, a lot of my singing was crap. From my experience, calorie surplus is way more important than a lot of protein. Yeah, I would always opt for a calorie surplus first. But if your calorie surplus is high and your protein is low, there's some issues going on with your diet that you should address. But yes, I would lean on that side. But if you have a 3,500 calorie intake and only 120 grams of protein, you're heavy into fats and carbs, which could potentially mean you're heavy into the junkier side of eating. No, I do not think plant-based or plant-based fat. Sorry, I read that as healthier than no. There's a lot of misinformation and propaganda on animal-based fat. It's bullshit. If you really do your research, you'll understand it's bullshit. So no, animal-based fat is not something to fear. In fact, the fats found in dairy products are some of the most rich in micronutrients and phytochemicals anywhere of anything. So eat your animal-based, eat your plant-based. Don't overcomplicate things. Get in a good variety, and you will be healthy. Ish, hopefully. Ryan, get used to a bit of hunger and record your daily macros. Calories can sneak up on you. Yep. And a lot of people bite it, right? A lot of people will bite things and not write it. Small little things, or they'll over proportion, or they'll kind of overfill their plate by accident. So it can get out of control very, very quickly. Why do fitness influencers say I got big because I've been training 20 plus years when after 5 years I had not? I guess I would have to understand the context. Not a lot of guys, I would say the majority of guys that get big, just a click for them, very early on. They're just naturally hard trainers. Guys like Alpha Destiny, GVS just had a really good year. Bald Omni Man. But I never said I got big. I think the point they're trying to make is that I don't think they're trying to be negative or misleading. That they're basically trying to stress the point that it takes a long time of hard work. And they're trying to stress the point to anybody else that if you want to do this is a long game, right? So just I would frame it like that. When should a lifter specialize? After you've spent time building a really good base of strength and muscle, if you want to start to do specialization programs like a 3-month back specialization, that'd probably be okay to play around with. It's not going to make a world of difference, right? But it won't hurt either. man, what percent of people have genetics to make it to the NFL? Maybe 1%. Like, I think everybody, no matter who you are, if you look at like you or me or anybody, there's something you would be naturally really good at. You just might not realize it, or there's millions of things we could try in this life, right? You might have no idea because you never try it. Maybe you would be, maybe you're naturally set up genetic wise to be a darts master, right? But you never try it, or bowling, or archery, or speed walking, right? At the Olympics, right? There's so many, or painting, or whatever. There's so many things we don't try. That's one of the beautiful things about just trying things in life. You explore different talents and abilities. So I think a rich life is a life spent where you continue to try new things, and some things you're going to fail at, some things you're going to be really good at. Steve Hangry, I am in day 6 of my cut, and I am at the border of like chewing my own arm off. I can't wait until, like, immediately when live is done, I'm going to have a protein drink, 110 calories. Where's the Massive Iron protein? Is it on the wall? No, it's in the kitchen. I'm going to have a protein drink because I need something in my body. Woodulus, greetings from Scotland. What are the pros and cons of owning sausage dogs? The only con is they bark at everybody, right? Everybody's an enemy. They're great dogs, man. They just follow you around everywhere. They attach to you. They're sweet. They have big personalities. Everyone's different. Snoopy. I got 3 dogs over there, 3 sausage dogs, and they're all different. They're all completely different. They're just amazing dogs, super smart, super fun. And the only downside is they like to show everybody their boss. So if you get them around people, they like to bark a lot. Pain of discipline or pain of regret. Everyone gets to choose. Week 6 of my cut. Haven't done it yet. The pain of discipline, it sucks. So you're talking about cuts here. So you get to choose. Pain of regret, pain of discipline. That's absolutely right. I am not saying it's easy. But at some point, if you want to accomplish anything important, you have to keep going when it sucks. If I could teach you one lesson, it's not, don't fear the suck, right? Don't fear the suck. Keep going when it sucks. Just put the next step forward. Just put the next step forward, even if you don't want to. Yesterday, I went into my workout, my back workout, and I looked in the mirror, and I looked like I looked like a disaster. My eyes looked like I hadn't slept. They were watering. I looked like shit. And I felt tired because I was on day 5 of my cut. I was flat, just flat. And man, I wanted to work out like I wanted to put a drill into my skull. I mean, literally. And I'm no superhero, but I just took the next step. You just did the first warm-up on deadlifts, did the second warm-up. I allow myself to go slow initially. Don't rush. And sooner or later, by the end of that workout, it was 80 minutes, and I crushed things, and I was super motivated. I felt great. So it's like when you come out the other side of the tube, not always, but a lot of times you feel really, really good, and you feel better on the inside. You feel like you feel better as a person. You feel better, like that mental strength. Like you've accomplished something. You did something. You feel more confident. You just, I don't know. David, I'm hungry. Stuff. This is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys getting a kick out of it. My little rant. I feel bad because I've skipped you for plenty of weeks. That's all right, Stan. I still love you. You're a legend. This got to be in a TikTok in my rant. Yeah. I don't know how long TikTok goes, but yeah, maybe I'll chop it up and put it on TikTok. I'm still trying to figure out TikTok, so thank you. Steel, that was an awesome one. Thank you. Maybe I'll chop it up and put it in a regular video. I appreciate you guys watching it. Nia, I hope someone made a clip of that. There is an evil on the Aunt BGM. Not sure what that means. This is an evil opposite of hunger too. There was a time when bulking I straight up enjoyed, annoyed with eating. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Absolutely. Bulking is the same way. Like if I have clients that don't want to eat, like literally, I don't care. I don't care. There's a process, and what you want to do, I don't care what you want to do. There is a process. We have to stick to the process. Either you're going to stick to the process or you're not going to get the results. So what I want, I feel stuffed. I'm having a hard time eating. I literally do not care. There are people out there eating themselves to death, and I'm gonna cry because you can't fit in 200 calories, right? There's people on the internet eating like 10,000 calorie meals, killing themselves with food. And Bob from Idaho can't fit in a couple extra 100 calories. Eat a fucking candy bar, Bob. I mean, if you get to that point, suck it up. Eat some ice cream. Eat some cheddar chips. I mean, seriously, I don't care if you feel full. I don't. Maybe you need to eat a little bit of, a little bit more junk, a little more calorie dense. I'm not a big crap food guy, right? I'm not pushing to eat junk food. But if you have a hard time getting your calorie intake, you probably need to eat something a little bit more palatable that can allow you to jump up. Ring push-ups. Nope. Isn't a ring same as a TRX? I kind of. It's going to be kind of the same mechanism, right? I don't like the instability. But I'm a lot heavier than the smaller guys. The gymnastics guys. I don't like the pressure they put on the shoulders. I'm not a fan generally. That's just me personally. Don't hate. Sandra, I got to ask that kind of question to fire him up. You bet. It was a great question. I love the questions. And whenever I respond, I'm never responding to you guys specifically. I'm responding to the questions. So I always want that to be understood on this channel. Muhammad, I have 12 hard sets for back, one chin up, one chest supported row. So you have 2 variations and 6 sets for each. I would rate that like a C+. You got the hard work, you got some vertical and horizontal pulls, but you need a little bit of variation. So if you could get that up to 12 hard sets with 4 exercises, then I would be super, super happy. I saw you say in a video that your chest hurts after every time you bench. Yep. I find after 2 weeks of almost any exercise, no matter how hard, everybody's going to be different, man. Don't chase soreness, though. Chase hard sets and progressive overload. And whether you're sore or not, that's the glory path. Wide cable row, but I feel it's few. This was back to this. And I got a little lost on that one. So maybe, Muhammad, you could clarify. Just listening on my drive to the gym. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. 39-year-old male, 5'8", 214, 27% body transformation in the works. Yeah, it's a good starting point. Everybody's different, but if I had to just throw a random number for a starting point, it would be 2,500. Watch the scale. And I'm not sure if you're bulking or cutting. But, if you need more advice, just hit me up or join Team Massive Iron. David, do pull-ups or chin-ups really hit the chest? Every compound movement hits the upper body in a way. When I do deadlifts, sometimes I can feel my pecs ripple, right, stressed. So when I do cable tricep extensions, I can feel my core wanting to seize up. So yeah, you can get crossover soreness like this. There's stability going on. There's a weakness there. It doesn't mean it's a big chest builder, but it means there's some general weakness and it'll get strong. What do we got? Would you consider making a longer video teaching how to eyeball? Yeah, I think like the longer videos, I've been trying to decide whether just to put them up on Massive Iron or to have them on Team Massive. I think there's value in the longer videos, even if YouTube hates you. So, yeah, that would be a really good thing. You could have I could have people submit their photos, and I could do it in real time, for you guys, teach you how I eyeball. So yeah, that's a really good idea. Will you remind me? Maybe DM me to do that. I'll ask for people to send their photos. I'll blur their head off, their face off. Clue. Why bother studying science when you can reach 99% of genetic? I don't know. It's a good question. It's interesting, right? It's interesting. Like people watch train wrecks. It provides no value. So the problem with science is that it's really, there's too many hands in the kitchen. There's too many hands that don't understand the mechanisms. Like if you get 200 guys that have worked hard like me, GVS, and I'm not being elitist here. Hear me out. You get 200 GVSs, Bald Omni-Men, Alpha Destinies, guys like that. They're gonna you pool how they got to where they got, and they're gonna have really good information, really good practical information. But the science guys, there aren't many of them that are in that same pool. Okay, they haven't experienced it, so they do not have the foundation generally to then put together reasonable research because they don't understand what we understand, right? Does that make sense? That's one of the major disconnects with science and even nutrition. You have people that spend their life helping other people with nutrition, and they understand nuances. Like it's not just math. But that's one of the issues. So that's how you have to approach science. Sully. Yo, Iron, I'm trying to build my shoulders and arms. What would you say is the best way to program it? Go to my main page and search shoulders. You're going to get all kinds of information. You want programs? I got videos on everything on building programs live. So check that out, man. I'm not being dismissive, but I have videos where I build workouts from the ground up. If I got just a wealth of information, and it's hard to answer your question in just a simple, response because it's shoulders and arms. But check those out. Do you think lean bulking in a row? If you can sustain hard training, yeah. I mean, there's no real downside. You just don't want to get so fat that you have to do an extended cut. Does that make sense? So I advocate a 10-pound bulk over a 3, 4, 5 month period. You could do a 20-pound bulk in a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 month period. Okay? 20-pound bulk. So that's not going to put you too far off base. Let's say you started at 190 in body weight and you got to 220. You just have to be ready to take the consequences. It's sometimes easier to do the 10 and 10 and maintain a reasonable body fat percentage than to go over. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. No matter what route you take, you're going to have to pay the piper at the end, which is a cutting diet. It's just easier to do short-term cuts. Hey, Bill, thanks for tuning in. Don't work too hard today. Hope you're having a good Friday. I feel trap bar sometimes feels worse on my back, upper or lower, compressing my spine. Okay, gotcha. Usually just the first set. Is it normal? Well, everybody's different. Everybody's got different torso lengths and arm lengths. So I don't like to worry whether it's normal. It is what it is. So I don't know if you're too far forward. You want to try to get your shoulders as close to upright over your hands as possible on a trap bar deadlift, but that's not always the case. We're using low bar handles or high bar handles. There's a lot of things going on here, but I will tell you, don't worry about it. If it bothers you, then don't use it. I benched 160 at 80, and I don't use that clip because I knew it was taken out of context. Yeah, the clip that gets passed around on TikTok where I say basically it's hard to, very few people will hit 315-pound bench when they weigh under 180 pounds. It's just true. Come on. I mean, seriously. I wasn't trying to be negative. It's just, I'm not on this channel to be negative, right? I want to encourage people to do it. I hope they do hit it. I was just saying it's a super rare thing, so you should feel good about it if you get it. Because people on the internet, one thing we need, look, there's a mental health aspect to lifting, right? And if you watch just the internet, you think everybody's benching 315. It's not so. So you should feel good about that. Sorry to hear about your knee. Knees over toes, guys. I can't help this. Can't help this. This is a tear, but I appreciate it. Morning. Tuning in for lunch. We'll check video later. Thank you, Eric. Join Team Massive don't join unless it's legal where you live. Yeah, don't join. Big Josh Megaroids. I've been using longer strides on dumbbell walking lunges. It seems to take stress off the knees. Have you? Yeah, you can mess with stride length. The thing you want to think about on lunges is when you step forward, always lower. When you step forward, you're lowering the rear knee. Okay, and then pushing up with the front. Does that make sense? You lower the rear knee and then you push up with the front. You step forward, you lower the rear knee, and you push up with the front. Does that make sense? Regardless of stride. What's your thought on neutral overhead? The neutral overhead scares me because you don't want you don't want your wrists too far forward in front of your elbows. So you'd have to lean back a little bit on a seated press. On a standing press, you might have to lean back even more. That can be okay for some lifters, but it's going to be a lifter by lifter case. If you have a neutral grip overhead press, you're using something, the football bar, whatever they call it, and you might have to lean back a little bit more so it could place a lot more stress on your lower back. What is a surge and cruise method? I search your channel. Hit me up on DM. What are most important things to focus on to be able to lift for a lifetime? Number one is passion. Number two, it's pace. Live to fight another day. Don't rush. Enjoy the journey. Do it from a place of passion and enjoyment. And don't take it too seriously. It's just exercise, right? It should be fun. If it's not, like, people go on the internet and they get all this information and it confuses them and exercise becomes less fun, right? So we have to leave room for fun. We have to leave room for enjoyment. Never forget that. What are your thoughts on pre-exhaust? Not for injury prevention, no. I don't really think that matters in the long run at all. Not at all. You're going to have progressive overload and you're going to get stronger. So there's going to be a toll on the body no matter what you do. So pre-exhaust is fine. I say for more intermediate lifters, it's more of an interesting tool. Will it be better than non-pre-exhaust? Not necessarily. The devil is in the details. But I wouldn't, as injury history, no. Or injury prevention, no. How long do you recommend sticking with an exercise you don't connect well with before dumping it? Well, I would probably at least give it 2 to 3 weeks to make sure you understand it. Sometimes, you ever meet a person in life where initially, they're like, boy, that person was annoying. And then you get to know them and you're like, they're all right. They just had a bad moment, right? So sometimes your initial impression of an exercise might not be correct. So it might not be a bad idea to try it a couple more times. You were going to have people try a variation of the 5, 10, 10, 20 on squats. Yep, that's the 4, 8, 8, 12. Has anyone tried? I got a couple people trying it. Maybe we'll run that next week or next month on Team Massive. That might be a fun one to run. Yeah, it'll work well. It's just a fun little tool, for moving up in weight, and I think it'll work well. Do you think something similar would be beneficial? Yeah, I do. The shoulders more than I think the bench press will struggle more on endurance. So you might want to do a 5, 10, 10, 15 or a 4, 8, 8. 4, 8, 8, 12 might work better on an overhead press than trying to do 20 reps. But it's going to be, up to the individual. Tolga, second day of doing the rest pause bro split. I love it. Great. Do you think that would be enough though? Workout less about. Wow, man, I'd have to look at that. That's pretty quick. I mean, if you have more energy, add some more volume in. Maybe not necessarily rest pause. You know what I'm saying? Clue. Even Eugene Sandow's measurements and body weight stats aren't true. His arms look 15 and a half when shredded. Yeah, I'd have to look at it, but I think you're probably right. Blocker rack pull, barbell row, neutral grip pull-ups, chest supported dumbbell row. Okay, that looks pretty good. You got your pull-ups, you got 2 rows, and curls are a little bit light. Rear delt raises, if you like them, do them. I would probably maybe add in a couple more sets of curls if you can tolerate it. Fat Chick in a Barn from Team Massive and a client of mine. Thank you. Good morning, and I'm glad you are here. Josh, no, I haven't worked there in a long time. Will running on the weekends hurt my leg gains? I hope not. No, they won't hurt your leg gains. There'll be some adaptation period, but you'll be fine. Suck it up, Buttercup. You'll be good. How much glute gains will someone get from deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, compared to adding a hip thrust? Well, no one can say that for certain. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone has different limb lengths and leverages and likes and dislikes. My dogs are going crazy. They think they heard something. So that's an impossible question. Everybody is going to have to adjust based on how the exercises feel and how the results are going. There's no formula, let's put it that way. And it'd be impossible to create a formula. Big Bill, just 5 days left on a mini cut. That's it, man. Dig in. No alcohol for you this weekend. Live like the Pope this weekend and bring it home. Big Paul, nutrition's numero uno when it comes to bench press. It is 100% numero uno. If you do not take nutrition seriously, you are train wrecking your bench press. A-Train, Steve, love your content. Thank you. And your workout products. Quick question. Do you feel like pre-workouts are necessary? Necessary? No. Sometimes are they good to have? Yeah. I just might stick to my Black Rifle coffee. Go ahead. I don't take any pre-workout right now. It's just not on my mind. I don't think about it. Maybe I should. Like yesterday, my ass was kicked. But not necessary, no. When I do it, I used to do a half scoop. Some pre-workouts can kick your butt, so just be careful doing a full scoop, right out of the gate. Is there any other sports you're interested in other than lifting and running? I've always been interested to a degree in some martial arts. It's just a matter of finding time. And hi, buddy boy. Well, come on. Oh, come here, buddy boy. Not obsessively so. I wouldn't say. No. When I was younger, I was very infatuated with certain forms of kung fu because I'm an old guy, but some of them just don't have that same luster, that same shine, right? Because of what we know from MMA. So Boxing, I think, would be fun. If I think I could do anything, I'd like to just do some boxing for general activity. Also, how do you determine what lifting accessories you need? Um, well, I made a video about putting together, about weekly volume and body parts. So that really will help you build a well-rounded physique. If you can't find the video, thank you, buddy boy. If you can't find the video, let me know. But I talk about weekly volume and I go over in detail, and it's on this channel. So it really provides a really good scope of how to flesh out. Whoa, don't jump off there, buddy. You have a long way down. It really provides a really rich look into how to program in general. That's my pre-workout of choice, coffee. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Big Paul, don't be greedy. Hit the like and share button. Thank you, Paul. Hey, Steve, I got a tattoo a few weeks back and needed to take 10 days off from the gym. If you are more than 10 days from a big compound movement, like squats, bench, deads, stop that. Dogs are getting in trouble. If you're more than 10 days out, take 10% off the big lift. You can even do that with minor lifts. If you stop that. Sorry. If you're more than 20 days out, you want to take 20% off a big lift. Does that make sense? The reason why you want to do that is, number one, caution. Connective tissue, this is just my opinion from experience, but it seems like connective tissue weakens faster than muscle tissue. So even though you might have the muscular strength to move something, your connective tissue might be detrained a little bit more. And I don't want to open the door to strains and tears. Chest was getting really strong using the 5, 10, 10, 20. Yep, there's a season for everything. And I think everybody should run that season with the 5, 10, 10, 20 because they'll see a spurt. It might only be 20 or 30 pounds in their bench strength, but take it, man. Run it. That program is usually great for everybody that runs it. They get at least 20 to 30 pounds out of their bench. Charles, I thank you and have a lot of respect. Thank you for what you're doing. I've only been lifting for about 2 years and I've learned quite a bit. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Raphael. Are you feeling better about resetting and getting back to regular training? I am. The pandemic just killed me, man. Just with stress and bad habits. So I feel almost back to normal, and I want to get back to normal. It said, "Love the Insta reports, you old legend." Thank you. I appreciate that. Troy is a client of mine and a true freak. I just ordered the AK-47 espresso. We're talking coffee. Jay Cutler had 450 milligrams of caffeine. Nah, forget that. I wouldn't want that all at one time. When I drink these, I just go slow and steady, but I'm not up for that. What do you think of the supplement NAC for liver health? All right, let me look at Examine. NAC, because examine.com is the source, and I haven't looked at NAC in a while. So let me share the screen here, and we'll take a look at NAC together. So it said is a amino acid L-cysteine, has antioxidant. What we want to do is look down at the research. It gets a B for COPD symptoms, 3 studies. And other than that, not a lot going on. So I don't know. With that, there's some studies, but there's not a lot of good research. So for that reason, you could spend money on it if you want. That doesn't mean it doesn't provide benefit, but it's looking pretty weak. Fish oil has a lot of omega-3s. Not a lot of downside for fish oil. Josh Megaroids, I have a choice. Alternating shifts, changing weekly, or 8x5 normal hours. The alternating shift job. Take the money and run, dude, and adapt on the fly. You're strong enough. You're a superhero. You'll adapt. You'll adapt. Adapt your sleep. Take the money and run. That would be my advice. Embrace the suck. Are you home? My wife's home and hiding. Once I've made 90% of my natural gains, it's okay to eat at maintenance. You can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. Um, like you can just maintain the rest of your life. Why wouldn't you? You want to come say hi? She just had her hair done. Let's see the big reveal. Let's see if it was worth it.
Big reveal.
How much did it cost you?
For hair?
Yeah. Got to get your hair in the
With
skin.
a tip or not tip?
I don't really care. Tip or no tip. Don't bend over.
I don't want to tell
Don't be
you.
inappropriate.
With tip 170?
Okay, you guys vote. Is her hair worth 170? I'll give it a
Yes.
thumbs up.
You have to. You have to give it thumbs up.
Um,
Or you can't really see because you're in the way.
How much was this? Did something drop on the floor? How much was this?
Was it 100?
Wow.
Was
Was
it
it worth it?
80 or 120?
Oh, my dog doesn't like this.
Look at Papa. Papa's like, what is that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe I think it's 120, or maybe you got on sale for 90. I don't know. Something like that. You're
the dogs are-
mean.
What?
You don't need to go to the hair salon or nail salon
Why?
because you're a man.
I'd like to get all my hair removed.
Well, then you'll be
So I don't
going
have to.
to.
Do you know
the
how hard it
laser
is?
treatment.
I have to do this every day to look this beautiful. You know how hard that is?
Do you know how hard it is for me?
Yeah, I see you in the bathroom for 2 hours a day.
No, it's not. It's 40 minutes.
I'm sitting there crossing my legs. 40 minutes. I'm sitting there crossing my legs, like Captain Chocolate Choo Choo's knocking at the cellar door. Like I'm just being patient.
Do you want me to be ugly?
No, I just want a second bathroom. That's what I need a new
Oh,
house.
Papa's like, had enough.
Yeah. All right. We'll stop annoying the dogs.
Okay.
All right. You gonna go back to work?
I haven't even gone there yet.
She's in
I went to the gym for 2 hours and then got my hair done. It's
What a
Freaky
life.
Friday. Freaky Friday.
All right. I'll remember Freaky Friday.
I'm going to work
Hey,
now.
can I ask you a question?
What?
What if we combined Freaky Friday with Valentine's Day? What kind of freakiness will we get?
Oh, fucking knows. I'm game if you are.
Yeah.
I just have to get up early and do muscle max and chair dancing
Okay.
all at the same time.
Okay. Hey, could you do me a favor and bring me a chocolate protein drink if you wouldn't mind?
Okay. Deb, you bought peanut butter by accident.
Oh, well, sorry.
They taste a little funky, but you'll survive.
Once I made 90% of my natural gains, oh yeah, we did that one. Sorry. Do you think most genetically gifted people are deluded, as they often say they have average genetics? No, I don't. Hard work is really the key. I think where the delusion is that people think that genetics really matters to get to 90%. Genetics might matter to get to the top 1%.
You bought chocolate with peanuts in it.
That sucks.
Yeah, they kind of taste. They're okay. They're a little funky.
All right.
Chocolate are better.
Yeah, but to get to the 1%, genetics matter more.
We're gonna go
All right, have fun.
with all the puppies.
But to get to 90%, no.
Come on, boys.
Larry, could you give your younger self one bit of advice? What would it be? Now that I know how to bulk, I would have taught myself how to bulk and cut right out of the gate.
Okay, boys.
I would have taught myself how to do that right out of the gate. So I could have maintained a better overall body composition, because I basically just started lifting and I got up to like 205 after like 3 years, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but I probably would have paced things a little bit more, and I probably would have paced things a little bit more after that point. Because in 1989, there was no talk of natural potential. So you thought you were going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Brendan, well, I look better when I lose. Yeah, you'll look better. You're not going to lose that much strength, and it'll come back once you level out. All right, let me get some calories. We'll get the next question. Any exercise you recommend to help a weak hip hinge? Patience. The real thing that's going to help is patience and getting plus ones over time. I don't know your situation. I don't know your weight. I don't know what your diet looks like. I don't know anything about you. But I do know if you nail your diet and you're patient, it's going to improve over time. So play the long game. Hugh, have you ever tried splitting leg training up? Yeah, I have a program, a 5-day power muscle block program where I have, bear with me here because the structure might sound wacky. I have a chest and tricep day, a back and bicep day, a shoulder and traps day, a quad focused and calves day, and then a deadlift and hamstring day. So deadlifts and hams and abs. So yeah, I put deadlifts and hams on the same day because you can jump from deadlifts to our RDLs. Maybe you can put traps on there as well. You can go straight to shrugs. So yes, I've had days like that, and it's a fun way to train. Time to go hit the back, get after it. I'm off today. Tomorrow I'm doing shoulders. Stan Strength, how's it going? Good to see you here. Please follow his channel. I think MMA has done a lot to remove the martial arts aspect of training. I love MMA. I love combat sports, and many of them are martial artists. But people just choose what is fun. But people should just choose. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's a lesson to me as well. I should not worry about the martial arts side of things and just do what I like. So that's a good reminder. Aaron, 2 people have the same back workout. Rows, pull-ups, cable rows. Person A does them all in a day. Person B does them in a separate day. Yep, over the course of 5 years, you're not going to see any difference. The belief that there is just a lie. It's a fairy tale. Hard work is a driver, and you're not going to see any difference over 5 years. Anybody that tells you that is lying, or they're just naive. There's not going to be any. I'm sorry, but they might not like it, and they might make videos hating on me about it, but it's true. Hard work is the driver, not the method. If all the variables are in place, and your nutrition's in place, and your progress is in place, it doesn't matter. Weekly volume is going to matter. If you think it matters, you're living in a fairy tale. I'm not saying that as an opinion. I'm saying that as someone that's lived through the body part split era. People didn't have any problems making progress. In close, what arm size to look like you lift? I'd say once you get to 16, you're starting to look pretty solid. Did the 50+ comments on last week's live help at all? Yeah, it all helps. Everything helps the algorithm. It really does. I appreciate that. Learning how to fight is not always the same as learning a martial art. That's a very good point, and I appreciate that. Big Josh Megaroids. Do you like stiff leg deadlifts? And what's the difference? An RDL, when you do an RDL, you push the glutes back to lower the weight. You're not lowering the weight and doing a hip hinge. Basically, you're not trying to just hip hinge, right? You're trying to drive the glutes back and load the hamstrings as the weight lowers. People do not understand an RDL and what they're trying to do. People just kind of push it back and they think they're just lowering the weight. A stiff leg deadlift is pulling the bar off the ground, and it's a good assistance exercise for the deadlift, but only once you've built a good quality level of lower back strength. I've heard that you begin losing muscle. No, it's the body's not. If that was true, I wouldn't have any muscle at all. I've only trained with a body part split most of my life. This is just nonsense, fear-mongering, horse crap. It's just horse crap. Thank you. I appreciate that. Matthew, what do you think about rotating the trap bar and stiff leg deadlift? Yeah, every other week, I'm fine with that. The stiff leg deadlift is an intense lift, though. It's not good for your lower back. A stiff leg deadlift, I don't know if you're talking about a stiff leg deadlift or a Romanian deadlift variation. But the over 40 lifter with lots of low back stress, you don't want to do the stiff leg deadlift. No way. You want to do the trap bar, probably exclusively, unless you do like a sumo. Is conventional rack pulls ever needed again? Rack pulls are a little bit easier on the lower back, but Matthew, the stiff leg deadlift is the most troublesome of all these lifts. It's going to really hit your lower back hard if you don't have perfect technique. I meant to say, if I only bulk 4 months out of the year when I've achieved 9, yeah, absolutely. You can do whatever. If you're at 90% of your natural potential and you continue to lift, you're going to get the next 5% really over the next 5 years, no matter what you do, just by default. I keep RDLs every week for volume, but my trap bar I'm pulling away from. I'm getting a little confused because now we have RDLs in the mix. So, Matthew, I'm a little bit confused. Sorry. How often do you expect to add a +1? It depends on how strong you are. So, at the beginning, you should be seeing some pretty routine progress. And understand that every +1 on a lift, once you're at like near intermediate levels, is adding 5 pounds to your max. So it might only happen 10 to 12 times a year. Right. So that's reality. That's not a plateau. All right, guys, I'm about out of here. If you have any questions, fire them off now. If not, I'm jumping off. Big, hairy, ugly dude, really batting above his weight. Yes, I'd like to think so. It's all my charm. It's all my charm. All right, guys, I appreciate you joining me. Before we head off, don't go anywhere. Please follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter, Twatter, Tutor as well. Head over to Super Living Today. Just go poke around. I don't make a lot of money, but I've created on this stuff, so I don't really care. But you know what? Support it if you feel motivated. I have creatine, quality products. I have whey protein. I have shirts. A lot of apparel. Go poke around the apparel. I got some pretty cool t-shirts over there. And I only make a couple bucks off them. I'm not trying to be an apparel company. Workout section has tons of workout ideas. Team Massive. Come join teammassiveiron.com. And Massive Fitness Equipment. The Massive Fitness. For those of you that's not familiar, go take a look at my equipment. themassivefitness.com. Please. I got it coming in 2 weeks. It'll be here, and I'll be officially selling it. I'm taking pre-orders, so if you want to pre-order now, it'll be shipping out in 2 weeks. So check all that stuff out. And what do we got? We have one more. Squat threes protocol, then I do RDLs. My back day is rotation of trap bars and stiff leg deadlifts. Yeah, that's probably one of the, I mean, if you're handling it, but that's what you're doing right now is pretty intense for your lower back in general. So I don't know, Matthew, if you're handling it, continue to handle it. You know, don't not do it. But if you want to talk a little bit more about it, you know, just slide into the old DM. All right, guys, that's it. We're just about at 2 hours. I appreciate you guys joining me, and please come back next week. Come back next week, and let's do it all over again.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
What the fuck you guys still doing here? Go fucking do some Friday shit. Thanks, guys.